All right, everyone, welcome back. This is episode 21 of The Late Game. I am here with iNcontroL, JaKaTaK, and Destiny, and we're going to continue our discussion about Legacy of the Void. We're going to talk about a few more units and get some final thoughts on the initial impression. These are the most initial impressions you could have. The beta has not been out for hasn't even been out 24 hours yet. They didn't release that thing till about 9 or 10 Eastern last night. So let's kick it off this time with the what is it? Corrosive Bile is the name of the ability, JaKaTaK?
Corrosive
For the
Bile.
this is for the corruptors. I'm sorry, not corrosive bile.
That's caustic spray.
Caustic spray. There we go. Someone said corruptor piss, and I was stupid and wrote I wrote that down. So
I said corruptor piss. 'Cause that's what I call it.
So I wrote that down. I couldn't remember what corruptor piss was, but there we go. So yeah, corruptor piss. Destiny, have you used it yet?
I haven't.
Okay, JaKaTaK. I know you've been doing some testing.
I think that it's an excellent it's a new form of BM that I'm sure a lot of people will get excited about. You know, leave the game. I just made a swath of corruptors and I'm peeing all over your building, so leave. You know, yeah, but it's interesting. It does like a little bit of damage for 6 seconds, and then it jumps up to a whole shit ton of damage for the duration. So really good at taking down like Nexuses, hatcheries, that kind of stuff.
Okay, does that only work on buildings?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
I think where you're going to see it super powerful is like, think of how many times in PvZ they've gone mutas. You make Phoenix because you need to handle the mutas, and then they make corruptors because if they don't, the Phoenix will absolutely devour the mutas. And in those situations, the corruptors are more zoning out things, right? You don't stand up to the corruptors or the Phoenix unless you have overwhelming numbers in the upgrade, of course. So a lot of times in those situations, the mutas are like skirting on the outside edge of the range of the corruptors, avoiding the Phoenix. And then the Phoenix will get to a certain point where they just can't engage, but they've whittled the mutas down to such a number that Photon Overcharge, Warped and Stalkers, a couple of Archons, that kind of stuff will get them out of there and you'll win the fight. Now in this scenario, if you have 9 to 12 or more corruptors, something like that, instead of just sitting there doing essentially nothing or uselessly chasing after Phoenix, they can spend some time saying, okay, if you want to avoid the mutas, fine. I'm going to target down the Nexus, and then I'm going to run the mutas away. And then the Phoenix, they can't kill corruptors for shit. They'll come in and try to do something while you're down a Nexus. In a scenario like that, that's a Nexus down versus in the HOTS era where nothing is done, basically. Once you whittle down the mutas, you're not worried about anything else. The corruptors just sit there. So this is a pretty damn big increase of effectiveness for Zerg, in my opinion, specifically in PvZ. I don't know that it'll have a huge effect in ZVT.
Now, someone said in chat, I don't know if this is true, but it says a siege tank in siege mode is a building. So is no, JaKaTaK? All right.
So the interesting thing about a siege tank is that it has the footprint of a building. So it acts as a building. So you can mineral walk through all units except siege tanks when they're in siege mode because they have the footprint of a building, but they don't count as a building for something like caustic spray.
Okay. There you go, guys. There's the answer to that. Look at that. God, that's why I brought you on here. You're so awesome.
Just here to answer like silly, really weird questions.
Silly. What are you talking about? This is
scientist.
You're like the Marines. Where's that Marine music from the StarCraft video? That is what goes on in your mind as you're making things happen. So we've got the what is it again? Caustic spray?
Caustic spray, yeah.
Okay, so we covered that. Have you had anyone use it against you yet, Jeff?
No.
Okay.
They will, though. I really do. I feel like this will be the thing that will become one of the bigger changes. Well, one of the bigger changes, I think, in Legacy of the Void. I really do. We also saw some corruptors towards the end. It's not really the end. They have all year, but Heart of the Swarm, corruptors are making a little bit more of an appearance in ZVT as well to kind of deal with Mutalisk and just tank more damage as opposed to the less forgiving Mutalisk. Now, with this ability, there's just more utility. There's just sniping Nexus, sniping command centers. That's going to be a really good thing because you don't put 15 missile turrets in your base or 14 photon cannons. You have Blink Stalkers, you have Bio. They need to get there, and these corruptors are hardy and decent at speed enough. They're obviously nobody would call them fast, but they can get there and do the damage and get out.
Okay. With that, I think that's really all I have. That I'm, it's early on. I think a lot of the comments we saw about the pro games in, I think it was the pro games at BlizzCon when we had the players sit down and test and all that. A lot of people were commenting like no one's going to use the thing, but I think it's just a matter of time. People are going to figure out what you just said, and we're going to see a lot of it. So maybe we'll see it in the tournaments this month. But so we've talked about the barracks and the turrets already. You guys were talking about defilers earlier.
Those are not a unit in Legacy.
So you were just using. What were you comparing those to? I wrote it down as a note.
I think talked about Brood War.
We talked about it in Brood War, and I think someone at one point misspoke and said Defiler instead of Viper. But
Okay.
It was just a slip of the tongue kind of.
We did talk about the Viper and their new ability. We did talk about the Disruptor. Ultralisks. Destiny, have you had a chance to bring out Ultralisks?
Oh, I keep trying to get there. I was going to in the last CVT I played, but I haven't had a chance to build them yet. No.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, people were telling you that your stream is muted.
Yeah, I unmuted it.
Who are you playing against? Who just queued up?
Another Zerg player. It's ABC. I'm not finding like any Terrans.
Is that Bling?
Solo?
Solo. Oh, that's Root Solo.
Oh.
Yeah.
How many people are on route now? What the fuck?
Right. Kellizer just went over there.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're
Is
the
Athene still en route?
Who?
Athene?
Oh, I don't know.
He never really was.
I mean, there was an announcement.
And the return to conversation will be regarding the Banshee. All right. Have you seen any Banshee play against you, Steven? Early game, kind of the heart of the swarm. You have the Banshees Hellbat kind of pushes. You seen anything like that?
Nah, I haven't. I've barely even seen Hellbats. I can't speak for anything Terran. I haven't seen hardly anything. No. The games that I played against Bomber were really shitty. He like tried to proxy T-Rex one game, and then the other game he just did like completely. He was like Zerg and tried to like 12 pull or something. So
was it back to back?
Yeah, I think it was. It might have been, or it was like really close. But so I don't have a lot of experience like playing against any of the Terran stuff yet, or seeing like ultras or anything.
Okay, Jeff. What about you? Any Banshees coming at you?
No, not yet. I've watched a few streams where they were used. At least for right now, actually, I was watching Destiny's stream while he was getting hit by Banshees. They didn't seem.
Yeah, I played him one game. It was like late game versus mech though, so I don't know like how relevant or how different or whatever compared to like an early game push or whatever.
So I was seeing a lot of people go when I'd go for the Cyclones. A lot of people would go for they'd go for the Immortals and they'd go for that, and they'd also a lot of people were trying to rush out the Disruptor, right? And I found that if I went into Banshee with a follow up, it was pretty decent against the the Immortals. They didn't really have the anti-air unless they had gone Blink Stalkers as well, and it had done well. And then I watched when I went to bed, I was watching Bomber stream, and he was going 2 barracks of just Cyclones, and then he would follow it up with 3 Stargates or Starports, and just pump out Banshees after that. And it was doing pretty well. A lot of his games didn't go into the late game after that. But then again, it's also Bomber's control. So, but I only got to catch a couple of his TVPs. Anyway. So the Banshee, from my perspective, it's really nice. I like, in a way, that you have to get out the Fusion Core before you can get the Banshee speed upgrade, because it kind of guides your hand into a more air-centric tech, and you're going to have to... It gives you a great opportunity to get battle cruisers out if you have the economy for it. And with the fast pace of the economy right now, it's really not that hard to do. So I like that. It kind of sends you in that direction. That kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, JaKaTaK, which was it's not necessarily a matter of what you open up putting you behind, it's whether or not you can transition into a mid or late game build from it. And I do like the idea of battle cruisers in the mid game. So, I mean, I really can't offer any high level insight beyond that because I'm not high level. So, we'll move on from the Banshee. I think really the carrier. Jeff, walk us through the carrier change.
It's just a different beast. Like it seems like the AI is a lot better. I'm not sure if that's entirely true, but it just seems to function a lot better at least. The ability to send the interceptors to a location and just like leave them there, and it's a really long duration. Like whatever's there is gonna fucking die unless it's 200 Marines or something like that. Is really strong. It seems like that too is kind of a take they're taking. Broodlords don't have like a teleport ability or like a fly faster you fuck, cast. But battlecruisers can teleport, and now carriers can get around their immobility by leaving their interceptors in a spot and then flying away.
And one of the games I played against Tuck, he did it was like 6 carriers or like 8 carriers put in my base, and then he recalled, but the interceptor stayed, and it was like, okay, well, do I really want to go up there and
have fun with these right here?
Yeah, like I can't really go up and kill the interceptors because I'm just like wasting units to kill free shit. Oh, I guess they're 25.
Doesn't that feel weird? That's a weird feeling.
Now the tables have turned.
Okay.
If you're insane enough, you can manage to pull it off. You can actually knurl the carriers and make them drop their interceptors, and then they're useless.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds awesome. So I'm sure this is something to do with April Fools, but you guys want to go ahead and click that link I just sent you?
What is the link?
It's just our StarCraft.
Oh, what about it?
Subreddit has been banned.
Oh no, that's probably legit. I'm sure on April 1st.
Did Richard Lewis get banned from that too, or is that?
What the fuck? How come I can't get to it from that link? But I can get to it if I go into my history and then I click StarCraft. I can get into it.
That's because that's StarCraft. There's not an R.
See that? He's a
Jesus.
scientist. All right, I think we're done. Finally, Jesus Christ! Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been the late Gizzle. Did his pizza get in? That was happening.
I think that's how it works. I think the show ends when the pizza arrives.
JaKaTaK, you chased him off the show. He's gone.
Wait, who's gone?
Like
The
it's
host.
gone. That's it.
Oh,
And your little dog too.
I'm gonna wait it out. I want this to be as awkward as possible.
God fucking damn it.
Welcome back.
Chat, you're on point today. Goddamn. Everyone. Oh, you know what's going to happen, though, is it's going to breed distrust between me and the community. I'm not going to believe anything anyone else is going to tell me. Like
I mean, it's April 1st. You shouldn't.
Yourself as
I
the
think
most
you're
gullible
right.
person I think that could exist, essentially.
Deep breaths, man.
Oh,
Slow
no,
breaths.
I'm perfectly fine. All right, so, Steven,
What?
going up against the...
Can't be bothered.
Right? Going up against the carrier, what are your experiences? Have you countered it? What are your thoughts?
I saw it like one time in a game. I haven't not enough. There was like one game where a guy tried to go carriers, but I was doing like a Ravage or Hydra Rush, and I just annihilated him. And then there was a game where Huck did it, but I think I was already kind of behind that game anyway. And then I like lost my whole main because they left the interceptors behind, so I don't have like a good enough experience yet.
Destiny, what do you think about, not to get too theory crafty, but what do you think about something like Viper, Corruptor, Muta in ZVP?
I don't know what I haven't messed with like the changed corruptors yet, so it's hard to say.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just feel like with that sort of for a while the Corruptor Muta style, like you were talking about before, once you add the Viper into it, they destroy.
Because of the Viper. I'm thinking of the Corruptor changes. Oh, because the Viper changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Irradiate is insane.
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
if you irradiate 2 units, is it double the damage for all the
Yes.
other AoE things around them? Yeah, that's kind of and it stays.
Yep.
But you can micro out, like you can, obviously you're going to take damage in the amount of time it takes you to get them away from each other.
It's the same skill that I would imagine in Brood War when you have a stack of mutas, you have to pull them out and separate and all that.
Kind of, but at least in Brood War, when the unit died, the irradiate was gone. It
Yeah.
sounds like that's not the case here.
Irradiate Plus is awesome.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Okay, so there's a question actually earlier that I meant to ask, but we didn't get to it. So we'll finish up the carrier first. Jeff, have you used it yet a lot, or have you
Oh,
used
yeah.
it? And what are your what have you been using it? What kind of situations?
I think it's going to be kind of the pseudo proxy colossus of the late game. It's just too fucking good to not do it. I don't know. And we're talking about these problems with like Corruptor, Viper, Muta. Like, you know, that composition is going to be really tough to deal with. I feel like in the late game, and carriers are going to be your best answer to that with Templar. I think everything is going to need like the PvZ matchup is going to. The funny thing about the Viper is it was already, if you didn't have Templar, you're kind of fucked because of Abduct.
Mm-hmm.
And now with the Irradiate ability, it's just like reaffirmed that. So it's interesting. It's a super powerful ability, and I feel bad for Terrans, by the way. That's where it's going to really hurt. They don't even know
Sky
it yet.
Terran is going to be.
They're like, I have to micro even more. Oh, bother. Gosh darn it. You know, like they're going to have to spread their units. Things are going to actually die.
It does only affect air units, though. I don't know.
It does only affect air units? Well, so
Only
it'll be
air
Metavax, which is still a prime target.
Ugh,
For sure.
Does the AoE only hurt air units as well?
Yes.
Okay. That's interesting. That's a lot better to hear then, because otherwise you would actually just make pure Viper armies. Irradiate everything.
All right, so I don't think there's anything that doesn't have me excited. So, we'll find first question: number of possibilities. Right, we see these changes, the different economies, with the design of Legacy of the Void, and we're going to kick this to you, Steven. With the new design of Legacy of the Void, do you think that we're going to see not just more exciting games because things are faster paced, but do you think we're also going to be seeing more? People have more options, more opportunity to catch someone by surprise, more technical builds that are well thought out and constructed to be viable up to the mid and late game. So we're not talking cheeses necessarily, but just there are more options in general, so that we don't just get in and say, oh, well, the meta right now TVZ is X, so we're going to of course see a Hellbat push or something like that.
That was like, I think that was like 4 questions.
Right? Okay. Do you think...
So, like, backing up, I do think there's going to be more opportunity for games to be more entertaining, because I think by default, anytime somebody's taking an expansion, you've kind of created an opportunity for something interesting to happen, right? If somebody expands, then you're either attacking, you're either expanding yourself, or you're well, it's
Go on.
Things. No. I was gonna say, or you're defending, but no, you're not defending. Your opponent's expanding. So the fact that people are forced to take expansion so much quicker means that you're creating more interest in the game, because people are gonna have to defend or attack set expansions. Like, there's gonna be more decisions made rather than and now he's taking his third, and now we're gonna kind of wait for all of that and the economy to get up, and nobody's really attacking or doing anything. You know, I think the economy thing is gonna push people to be far more active. Yeah.
Okay. In control.
The question on economy again?
So actually, no. Let's not economy. The other part about
it is, he has 4 questions.
I know.
So pick which one you want to
respond. So he covered the economy. What about
choose your own adventure?
Right. What about just the number of opportunities you have? We have some new units. We have some different compositions coming out. Do you think there are more ways to take your game than just, okay, I'm going to go Roach, Hydra, Viper?
Yeah. Absolutely, and I agree with everything Steven said. That is, you know, creates new opportunities. The new economy is just complete. It's like changing the size of a fucking basketball hoop in basketball. Like it really changes everything. And StarCraft needed it. It's a really nice shot in the arm. Heart of the Swarm, I think, is a really, really good addition, especially when you compare it to Wings of Liberty. But perhaps because of the looming legacy of the Void, towards this time, stream numbers were down. Other games are flourishing and doing really well, and it's really nice that there is this change of pace, but an extremely intelligent change of pace so far. Speaking specifically to the question, yeah, I think unit compositions are exciting, but I'm just the bold moves, like changing the economy in the 3rd iteration of a game that's been out for 5 years. That's fucking ballsy as hell. And it needed it, and it seems to be the right choice. And also, I'm glad they dropped Blizzard time, by the way. I'm not sure why that ever existed or was a thing, but it was. And now it's not, and that's nice.
Wait, what was ever a thing?
Blizzard
time. Why was there a different form of time?
JaKaTaK?
So the reason...
Or
well,
Destiny
just
goes.
that, like, super fast. The reason why there was a different point in time, it seems kind of weird, but back in the Brood War days, when you know how you could actually set the game speed when you went to create a game. Between normal, faster, or normal, fast. I think it was normal, faster, and fastest.
Fastest, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So the time was actually like real time was normal time, but everybody played the game on faster, which was accelerated time. And I think that's where, and then that's stuck, I guess, with StarCraft 2, where they still have, I guess you can make games in a normal time. Yeah, and then that's where the weird time came from.
Was there an in-game clock in Brood War? I can't remember.
I actually
No, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think there was an in-game clock, but there at the end of the game, when a game ended, there was like the time would show at the bottom of the screen. I don't remember if that was a Blizzard time or not.
Back then, it just like wasn't on our minds as much, I guess.
I only am pretty sure that there wasn't an in-game timer because I remember people getting really upset when the in-game timer in StarCraft 2 came out, be like, "Oh, it's taking away the skill of the game," and "Oh, everyone's just gonna know the times," and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, there's a legitimate complaint that one of the cool things about Brood War was when you watched it, like there was no great UI for observing, so a lot of that shit was magic because you're like, "How does he afford that?" Whereas in StarCraft 2, they're like, "Well, I mean, he saved up 1,700. You can see the supply difference."
That used to be
for it.
one of the early jokes in the days of like Husky and HD StarCraft, love him or hate him or whatever, irrelevant. But people would always say like, the difference between StarCraft 2 and StarCraft Brood War is that you actually had to know the game to cast StarCraft Brood War because you didn't have there was no production tab. Like you couldn't just look up and say, "Oh, well, he's doing that and that and that," because because he is. You can see it. It's like, well, no, you have to like actually like really know like what the fuck is going on in order to cast a Brood War game.
All right,
that's true. I think it is.
I have one last unit to cover, and then we're gonna have one more.
To decover? I've never heard that in
what?
my life.
There's a cover on it, and then you decover, so it's uncovered, and then you're good.
I'm gonna watch the replay. I don't think I said that, but okay.
Oh, you
So, siege tanks, siege tank drops, siege tank drops.
Super strong, super cool.
Yeah, heavy. So
I really like it.
Yep, and I think they're good for every matchup.
TBC, I had no idea too. It's so funny because, like, I played it at BlizzCon. I've read some of the threads, but I'm not following it super intensely because my kind of stance on certainly pre-closed beta is like, well, so much shit's going to change that I didn't play the UMS and stuff like that. Not to knock on the people that did, but it just wasn't what I want to spend my time doing.
Yeah, dumbasses.
JaKaTaK, but
fuck all those people. But silly thing.
All of a sudden, like in my first 3 games, I see this fucking floating tank coming over, and I'm like, what is this noob doing? And then it starts absolutely tearing me apart because you send something over there and he just picks it up as is and goes somewhere else. It's really cool, and it's going to be kind of funny too because I feel like there's going to be a lot of map design issues. I hope people are super intelligent about with floating locusts and with floating tanks. Like, you can't have too many cliffs with just the right range that nothing can reach it, but a siege tank there can, like that kind of stuff. And like floating locusts from a third that covers the entire map. That'll be really, really bad. So there's going to be, it's really cool and I love it, but it adds another complexity to the game, I think, even on a map design level.
A really weird thing for me too is that they increased the range of the swarm host. Like, it is the range of the swarm host is more now than it was with and during Locust before.
Well, there's a huge complaint before, it just couldn't.
It couldn't reach. It didn't have enough reach.
Okay, I lied. I lied to you guys. One other unit, Steven, last night I didn't get to see it, but I heard you saying you were going to try for a Nidus. Have you used the new Nidus?
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that.
It's so hard to, when you're on 2 bases, it's really hard to want to try to do that.
What in the fuck?
Maybe he's going to get Violet.
Doesn't it not make a sound anymore?
It might not. I think you can't kill it also, like, while it's
That's what it is. Right? What is it, JaKaTaK?
He just ran upstairs.
It's that you can't kill it while it's morphing in.
Oh, good. You can just get ready for it. You just like stand outside of it and stuff.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I don't like that. Like,
I don't know how I feel about it.
You can drop multiple openings at one time, right?
No way. Here's the real impact of that. Like the natural complaint is a lot of people are like, "Oh God, poor Protoss. There's going to be stuff coming in their base on 2 base times." I don't think that's the application of it. I think it's going to be late game like ZVT and probably to a certain extent ZVP, but they'll be able to handle it better. All those situations where it's like 6 base for 6 base, which is very different. Again, with the new economy, it's not going to be as much of that, but Nidusing has always been something, in my opinion, that's been super underutilized in ZVT. Now, if they can't kill it, they can't just send their SFEs at one and go kill it. They're going to be like, holy fuck, my whole army has to come home. It pops up, and then those cracklings are in their base. And those cracklings mean fucking business these days, guys. They mean fucking business. They will kill the base. They'll
Okay.
kill it dead.
One of the coolest things about Brood War that I kind of miss, to nostalgia out, cracklings in Brood War, they killed shit really fucking
they did.
fast. Like if you had like 12 cracklings like in an opponent's base, like if those went unchecked for like
Base
20
gone.
seconds, you're like down like 15 buildings. Like it was fucking crazy how quick Zerglings killed shit in that game.
Yep.
To me, like the best part about the cracklings were like the sound effect of Zerglings attacking buildings was like my favorite.
Oh yeah.
It was like crushing this like beautiful, beautiful sound.
JaKaTaK, I'm gonna come over the top and you're gonna ask you a question.
I'm ready.
Is that better, or is the sound of a science vessel getting scourged the better sound?
Oh man.
Because there is a correct answer here.
I'm gonna answer, I think, incorrectly and say that I personally enjoy the sound of Zerglings killing things more.
You're allowed your personal preference, but it is incorrect. You're wrong.
I'm very comfortable with being incorrect.
9 science vessels getting, like popping from plague and Hydralisk or scourge is like, ugh. It's the sound of Selma Hayek climaxing. Incredible.
Oh, that's beautiful. All right.
Thank you.
One more. Chat, I'm not going to watch anymore because you keep reminding me of these units, and we'll have plenty to talk about next week, so we'll cover everything we missed. But last question is for Destiny again. Have you tried the new burrow?
Oh,
What's
for
the new burrow?
roaches?
They don't need speed movement. Is that what it is?
Yeah, basically once you get burrow for roaches, they automatically get the glial thing upgrade, I guess.
So movement speed as soon as
They're like infestors now. They come with the movement speed, and as soon as you get burrow, they can move.
and you can get burrow off hatch tech.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't tried that yet.
So so you haven't.
Another thing too is when you get roach speed, you actually increase the speed of the moving underground as well as moving.
Yeah,
up.
they move very fucking fast underground.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So have you used those like the burrow? Anything?
No, I haven't. No.
Okay.
He's playing a game right now. Can you please shut the
Yeah,
fuck up?
can you like keep your questions simple,
Uh,
please?
Jeff, have you anyone used the burrow
Yeah.
roaches?
Yeah, and again, it's just really good. I don't think there's a whole lot of depth to talk about with it, but I do like the idea of, again, that is something that rewards the tactician and the multitasker and someone that plays at a higher level. I mean, everyone can use it for sure, but like, I had it used against me in the sense that he wasn't doing like his entire army burrowing because that would be silly.
Mhm.
He was instead like little packs of 8 roaches sacking my 4th and 5th bases, and they did a great job. And
Now,
that's how roaches should be used.
Now, did you lose out to that, or did you find a counter to it, or did you counter react in some way?
I can't remember if I won that game or not. But
Okay.
I think I won, but no, it's just roaches in late game ZVP are fucking trash unless used in a certain with Vipers. That's the thing of the past, but now they have more of a place because again, a base is going to have typically a lot of cannons is like 4 or 5, right? Well, 10, 12 roaches, they can kill those cannons, and once they kill those cannons, they can start attacking the middle line, and then if you just warp in zealots or DTs or whatever, they just burrow, and now that's a real problem for that base, and that's a really cool ability that Zerg is having access to it while not having to spend as much with as much downturn, which is what they had in Heart of the Swarm. Like if you had a bunch of roaches around the map, they weren't getting you the return you wanted, and then they were supply inefficient because of Colossus times a million, right? So they were just fucking trash. Like Zergs were crying, rightfully so, for years because they would make roaches and they would be like, just kind of like whipping themselves over the shoulder, like this is terrible. Why am I doing this? But now I feel like in Legacy of the Void, certainly roaches are not the new meta. Like you're gonna have roaches everywhere.
Right.
But they have more of a place, and I think that's a really good thing for this game.
I think too it was interesting. That happens in ZVZ, where you just you see the roaches start branching off and popping up and moving all over the place, and that's just I think going to happen more, which is awesome.
Yeah, I agree. It's exciting. It's a really cool part of the game. Burrow roach attacks is a really fun thing. Roaches moving in overwhelming numbers, not so much a fun thing. It should be in the game, but it's not fun. Blizzard has looked at these little things and gotten great community feedback, by the way, too. A lot of you guys out there like JaKaTaK playing these test maps. Thank you so much for doing that, putting that work, because these results are across the board pretty, like, this is closed beta, and I think the biggest complaints are the Cyclone seems to be a little bit too powerful. The Disruptor may be a little bit too powerful. If it is, the Colossus may be too nerfed, but the Colossus sucks anyways, so what do we do with that? Is the Adept where we want it? But these are like pretty minimal questions. Whereas if you compare it to Heart of the Swarm beta, here's the analysis people had.
How many Warhounds
the
were there?
Warhound fucking sucks. It's a terrible idea, and it needs to die. You know, like that was really bad. But this is a great closed beta, and it's just day 2. Good job on that.
All right. One last thing before questions is there anything in particular that sticks out that you don't like about the design or a unit or anything? Is there one gripe about what we're seeing now in Legacy of the Void beta?
One break?
Gripe. Just...
Oh.
I'll kick that to JaKaTaK. Is there anything in particular that's like you feel needs to be looked at? Oh.
I'm not going to go into everything, but this is kind of a technical thing, but it's really, really frustrating. When you control groups of air units, the overkill prevention and the problem with how they decelerate and how there's the separation radius forces them to stop dead when they kill something. So what happens is if you have a group of Mutalisks or whatever, and they're flying through, the 2 Mutalisks that attack and kill a certain unit will stop dead in their tracks, and the other Mutalisks will go forward. And it's especially apparent when you're controlling oracles, and that all has to do with how the engine interprets the separation radius and deceleration of air units. And if you fixed that, if you made it so either they decelerated second, or if they did it at the same time, you'd be able to control a group of oracles, a group of banshees, without them just sort of kind of going all over the place and not really maintaining their formation, which I think would be really cool.
Was that a problem with that was a problem in Heart of the Swarm too, no?
It's been a problem since the beginning of StarCraft 2.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Anything in particular to just the legacy, I guess, changes?
No.
Okay. Jeff, anything on your end?
I just have trust in the beta process. I don't think this game's going to release. So my comment would be more towards, I wish, it sounds kind of, it sounds super not selfish, but spoiled. I really don't like the maps for the beta. I think it's weird to look at this game and give it balance look, and that's exactly what a beta is it's looking at balance and do it on really shitty maps that we can all recognize as really shitty maps. Why is it not just on the ladder maps? You know, even that too is not calibrated for Legacy of the Void, but it would be better. A lot better, I think, in my opinion.
Okay. Steven, is there anything that in particular is grinding your gears that you think needs looked into in depth?
The maps thing is really big. I think that's really important. That needs to be changed.
Is it just the fact that there are 4-player maps? Like, are you saying it just should be 2-player maps?
4-player maps. There's also a lot of things where, like, I've been getting annoyed. In the few games I have played against Terran, there have been some pretty dumb, like, hey, we both took our third. Oh, cool. You can siege my third from your third. Okay.
Right.
You know, like that. But
it's a lesson we should have learned after, Deadwing, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. All right. That sounds good. I really don't have anything yet. I don't think I've fleshed out enough of the game to really think of anything that bothers me. I do agree with the map. So, all right, guys. So I'm not going to change the topic for this, but real quick, what we're going to cover is I have a Legacy of the Void tournament. If you got a beta, I'm going to go ahead and post the link in chat. Go to that Team Liquid thread, the signups, and there are the dogs.
It wouldn't be a show without them.
Shh. All right. There's a new neighbor dog, so they're barking to go outside to bug him. Anyway, so Legacy of the Void beta tournament, $1,000. It's $100 each week, but if you play, you get a chance to qualify. Depending on where you place in the bracket, you get points. And the top 16 players at the end of the 4 weeks with the most points go to play the finals. Finals is $600, split between first and second place. I think it's $400, $200 is what I set it at. So $400 if you win, $200 if you come in second. So if you guys have the beta and you want to play, definitely please sign up. I'd really like to see Steve and Jeff and JaKaTaK. I'm sorry, I can't remember your first name.
My name's
Jack.
Tom.
Tom Attack.
Just call me
What is your
Jack.
tournament?
I want to see Bro Jack, Jeff, and Steven all there if possible. And anyone it starts tomorrow, but you don't have to play in every one. But the tournament starts tomorrow at 10 a.m.
It's a weekly tournament.
Pacific time.
I have to do that, bro.
Sweet. So
How do
yeah,
you sign up?
there is a link. I'll link it to you directly, and if you want to tweet it out, you are more than welcome to. Obviously,
I don't know
but that's
about that.
the Team Liquid thread, and then there's a challenge link.
Oh, you did make a Team Liquid thread for this one?
You know what?
Are you actually gonna have it on Team Liquid when you?
It's
Where are
already
you-
it's
where are
already
you posting these links?
there's a little chat box. Look at where the
I see it.
yeah. Jesus H Christ.
Your name is Lycan, and it makes sense that dogs would be.
Oh,
Show you.
man.
He's gonna jump. Escape me first. Can you hear him barking?
Oh.
That's a handsome puppy right there. Look at that guy. Does he just like cuddle on you and just like lay without any regard?
Cuddles with my wife. He gets weird when I do it. Like he loves. I'm his like his leader. I'm his alpha or whatever. But whenever I pet him, his ears go weird. Let's see if he does it. No, he's not doing it.
Like they go down and back.
He like puts him up like Princess Leia. It's really funny.
Oh man, I love bulldogs. They're adorable.
Yeah, they're good.
So yeah,
I'll sign up. I'll play at 10 a.m. tomorrow.
awesome. Thanks, man. So yeah, anyone else
10 a.m.?
wants to? Yeah, dog. Pacific time, dude.
But noon for you, I think, or
That's
one
still
maybe.
pretty fucking early.
1 in the afternoon. It's pretty early.
Yeah.
I guess.
All right, so that's my little spiel about the tournament. We're gonna go into questions now. Again, per usual, this is my weekly disclaimer. Did not have an admin go through the questions, so this is me reading them. If I stop, it is not because I'm embarrassed to ask a question. It's because it's probably a troll question, and I'm saving us all the issues of my gullibleness. So let's check out the questions and see what we have, and then we'll wrap up the show. So, to Destiny. Never mind. How much bank did you make on that Legacy of the Void cash grab?
Wow.
Oh man,
I think
JaKaTaK.
he made at least 3 banks. I'm pretty sure.
Right? He's been saving esports this entire show, ladies and gentlemen. iNcontroL versus
Even this GIF you posted, man.
It's pretty good, right?
Give me 1 second.
Holy fuck! It's so.
It's too much.
All right, we'll share. Hold on, people.
Oh my god. Oh man.
All right. Get a hold of yourself.
I don't know if it was that
You
funny.
already walked around and ate a carrot, for God's sake. Let's finish the show.
Oh, okay. Do you see coaching potential using Archon mode in Control?
I mean, I guess, yeah. You know, do I think it would be better to do it that way? No, because the coach is playing and instructing at the same time. But it could have some kind of cool application. Like, okay, here, let me show you how to do it. I could see it being something like the student plays and the coach is there and can take control. And they'd be like, no, let me show you how to do this. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay. Now, how do you think it changes the dynamic that you have 2 people playing on the other side? So if while you're watching, I mean, obviously, I guess that would just be a matter of them having better control of macro possibly than the one person playing.
Oh, 2v1?
Yeah, like because in Archon mode, I assume that what they're referring to, unless you can do Archon mode versus the AI, I assume that what I'm just thinking is...
Well, I think he just meant it for coaching specifically, and
Yeah.
and that, it's not so much about the advantage of playing against the other guy. It's more about, can the person learn better with this tool?
Okay.
And I think the answer is mostly yes, but not such a... It's not like this is the revolution that coaching needed. It's just that this will probably help, and it's really nice.
I think it's also nice for players who are like literally it's their first game of StarCraft or whatever, and you have a friend like, oh hey, play StarCraft, we'll play together. You know, I think it's a nice introduction to StarCraft in general.
Okay. All right, Jeff. Was great to see you at the desk at IEM. You've hinted at a couple of personal projects you're working on for a while. Can you give us a little taste of what you have in the pipeline?
Yeah, this weekend, starting at 1 p.m. PDT, we'll be doing a live stream on Amazon Games for a 1 week pre-launch event, an unveiling of Mortal Kombat 10, and it's going to have the first look at Goro live play and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this is not StarCraft, but I've been doing more kind of gaming stuff, and I've always been a gamer. I'm really excited about it. I'm going to be hosting alongside DJ Wheat and with some other streaming personalities. So if you're into, just kind of general gaming, check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then it wouldn't be, personal project announcement of an announcement time if it weren't for, I'm working on something super big. It's going to be amazing. It won't necessarily specifically be StarCraft, but I am a StarCraft guy, so it's going to be not necessarily
Dungeons & Dragons role play.
No, it's gaming, and it's massive. It's absolutely massive. It's a huge partnership between two gigantic companies, and I'll be able to talk more about it hopefully in the next few weeks. But there's massive lawyers involved, and anytime that happens, it could come out. It could be announced just before that movie that Destiny was talking about earlier, summer of 2032 or something like that. But it's gonna be awesome. So that's what I'm working on. Other than that, I'll stream Legacy of the Void as much as I can. Excuse me. A lot of people are asking if I'll play Heart of the Swarm as well. I don't see myself doing that. I'm not a pro gamer, so staying up to date staying cutting edge on Heart of the Swarm doesn't super seem like Legacy of the Void is the future. So that's where my interest is.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm casting some event and it's Heart of the Swarm, you bet your ass I'll go grind out 150 games and make sure that I'm sharp on the game and watch all the leagues like I always do and stuff like that. So that's what I'm doing.
Awesome. All right, let's see.
Nice.
He didn't like that question.
Apparently the ladder rebalance was like just kind of a big April Fool's too, or
That was the next question. Are you following down the line?
yeah, I was looking at the thread.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know.
All their resources have been into making Legacy of the Void happen. So hopefully they'll push back into making that more effective afterwards, after this big theme of Legacy of the Void. And I imagine the next couple of days are going to be crazy with bugs coming in and fixes. And all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm surprised the server. I mean, I wasn't surprised when the servers weren't working as soon as we got on, but they fixed it very quickly. I was surprised at that, and I'm surprised it hasn't gone down again. I don't know. I'm sure we've all been around for many Blizzard launches aside from just StarCraft, and the servers always seem to be the first thing to take that hit. But yeah, things are going smooth so far, and I think I hope that they have a pretty smooth ride, because I know that Sion and I don't know how to say her handle, but Zovia, Kiki.
That's probably correct.
Yeah, she. They've been working their butt off to keep a lot of good communication between Blizzard and us, so definitely happy about that. All right. Yes, Planet Markler, you've given me crap 2 weeks in a row for not being good about putting my shit on YouTube, and 2 weeks in a row it has worked. So I guess that is 100% success rate. Congratulations. Keep it up. Keep the good work. Saving esports. Lycan, what is your job? You mentioned you do media stuff, 9 to 5 job. Is it anything like the show? Also, how many dogs are currently running around behind you? So the dog question, my roommate has 2 dogs. I have 1 dog. So there are 3 dogs. And I can math. And my job is I'm a systems engineer and a video engineer for a company that provides lossless, low latency video for the major news networks and sports. So if you watched any if you've ever watched Fox News, CNN, any of those places, or you watched any of the sports this past weekend, what is that damn game? Basketball. And we've been running a lot of those events. So when you see the video coming from different places and it travels over internet instead of through satellite, there's about an 80% chance it's through us that runs it. So I just manage a lot of the servers and I troubleshoot with the techs at the different ends of the networks when they don't have a shot that's up or they're seeing issues with their shot and things like that. So just nothing really exciting. Will I stream Legacy of the Void or HOTS? I will stream Legacy of the Void. I'm bad at both, so I'd rather stream something new and exciting. Steven, are you planning to do any more HOTS, or are you done with that?
No, I probably won't be. It'll just be Legacy of the Void.
JaKaTaK?
I'm sorry, I was reading chat.
Yep,
I missed the question.
Not a problem. Will you stream Legacy of the Void or HOTS? We.
Oh, are you kidding me? I stream Legacy of the Void every single day until it's out. Done. It's happening.
All right, and Jeff, you already answered that question. All right.
Are people already seeded into your tournament? Like you just sign up and you know where you're
No, the brackets aren't final until the day of.
Okay, good.
Yeah. All right. To all, the HOTS beta period and launch saw some new talent enter the scene and gain some real popularity. Nathanias, Chanman, Loco, JaKaTaK, Base Trade TV all spring to mind, if that's right. Do you think that Legacy of the Void will be similar? Will there be a new wave of talent? Any tips for people that want to be part of the wave of talent? I think there will be. I'll kick this to you, Jeff. You have a very good read on this kind of thing. Do you think that we're going to see some new talent spring up? And if so, or in general, just what advice would you give to new people who want to take advantage of this?
It's a great question. It gets kind of asked pretty often. I do think there'll be new talent. Obviously, I think that's it'd be like super negative and pessimistic to say there's never going to be new talent. I think there always will be. I think the interesting part of that question is taking advantage of this, and how does someone benefit from it? I think there's going to be a lot of attention on it earlier on. So if you're even a small streamer or even thinking about doing anything publicly, now is your time to attack as much as you can. Same advice, only it's more important. Tweet as much as you can, play in all the tournaments, talk to people, network as much as you can, and just get it out there that you're playing the game and you're interested in it, because there's going to be new and more eyes on it, and maybe some of those will stick. It's not really rocket science that way, and it's also a game of patience and a lot of luck too. Like some people are like, God, for 3 weeks I've been streaming for 5 hours and I still only have such and such viewers. And it's like, well, it takes more than that. It takes a lot, and sometimes it never even happens. It's not a guarantee. So that's why it's too bad the word passion has become such a stupid fucking like
meme.
It's like an avatar unto itself. Like it doesn't actually mean it's like a negative. Oh, passion is in reference to making fun of someone for playing or doing other things, when really what it should be is it's like the key grain and ingredient for someone being remotely successful at one of these games. Like Steven talks about this all the time. He plays other games or something for financial purposes, but he's also talked about it's really hard, or he plays certain games purely because he enjoys it and that's what he wants to do. I think that's a big part of the reason why a person like Steven is successful, is because he actually legitimately cares and likes the game. We've all seen those people that are playing games for reasons like they don't actually enjoy it. It's fucking hard to watch, and they're very rarely successful. And when they are, it's like kind of short-lived and on a lower level than their peers, I would say. So it's definitely it's a labor of love, and you got to put in the time.
Well, I think too, just as a personal example, I streamed every day but four for a year to start doing my StarCraft thing. I never got above like 50 viewers, unless like I got raided by someone else's channel or something like that. And it just ended up not working for me. I developed like a lot of connections and stuff like that, and I ended up moving on to YouTube, and that was my thing. It ended up YouTube was the thing that worked out for me. So I mean, it's not even always going to work out. You have to put in the time, but also don't be afraid to switch up your strategy and be intelligent about the way that you try to approach the problem.
Yeah, look at how long Winter had to stream with him. We have gone this many minutes without a Winter reference.
I'll have the timer next week. All right.
Oh, man.
Thank you for the answer, Jeff. That was really good.
Yeah.
All right. So, JaKaTaK, state of the fan mod. Now in the future, is it done? Are we like, okay, we're in beta, the fan mod's done for?
It's the last word I heard from Sion was that he's going to talk to the people from Blizzard and find out what they think, but his guess is that they're going to ask us to shut it down. But they've been really busy, so they haven't been able to let me know.
Probably don't want you guys copying all the beta stuff over into it.
It's not really that it's like copying. It's just sort of like, for instance, actually we ran into some of this before. It's sort of like, it's very easy for people to get confused and think, oh, is this Legacy of the Void beta? Like I know it says, custom fan alpha and all this other shit, but it's like, we can't make the models as well as Blizzard does. And like our picking up of the siege tank is not as smooth and it's not as good. And if people go into our little UMS game and they think, oh yeah, well we're gonna play it out. Oh, it's gonna be great. It's just the same thing. and they're disappointed. They're like, oh man, this whole lifting up the siege tank things, it actually sucks. Screw that. When really it's this awesome, really smooth thing we just haven't been able to accomplish. So I think it's more about like stopping confusion from happening than like them being like, no, don't take our secrets.
Total Biscuit just said you should put more time into the race switch mod because they're going to be doing a tournament around it.
The race switch mod is run by the Skunk, and he asked me to do a video for it, so I did.
Awesome.
And, that was my extent of the involvement, but I'll pass it on to the Skunk. I have some little qualms about it as well, little bugs that I think ought to be fixed, but he does it part-time, so he does what he can do.
Okay, cool beans. So I'm going to send this to you, Destiny. We're going to go around the robin for you guys, but will you be making use of more control groups to make up for the larger amount of multitasking in this game?
I actually expanded my control groups in Heart of the Swarm so that I have 4 groups per army, so that actually works out well for me. I'll be able to utilize it pretty well.
How long did it take you to... All right, 2 questions. First of all, did you move your production to the right? Or...
Yep, I just moved my hatchery. It would be on 4, my queen on 5. I moved hatchery to 5 and queen to 6.
Okay. And then, I guess you're set with the 4 then for this. JaKaTaK.
Why not 5, Destiny?
I don't know if you'll need 5, maybe.
I saw a professional Korean do it once.
Well, my bad. Maybe I'll look into that then.
JaKaTaK.
Yo.
You going to be up in your control group numbers?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I use 10 control groups for everything all the time.
Yep.
I want to address a question from the chat real quick. Someone said, I'm going to paraphrase here, but that the Viper's parasitic bomb does not stack. It does stack, but you have to cast it on different units. So if you cast 10 parasitic bombs on 1 battle cruiser, it's only going to deal 90 damage. But if you have 2 battle cruisers and they're on the side of each other and you cast 2, it's going to deal a 180 damage to each of them.
Oh, that's what I thought it was.
The way that it works.
Okay, I thought that's what whoever answered that question earlier. Yeah, I thought that's what whoever answered it earlier. I thought that's what they were asking when the original question was asked. Was it if it was it's stacked with the different units? But okay, cool. Glad we had that clarification. Thank you, whoever said that in chat. iNcontroL. Yes. Are you going to be using more control groups? Or are you happy where you're sitting?
Yeah, I recently upped it up to 10 myself as well, and I've written a program to use the F keys as also hotkeys. So I'm gonna. No, I'm not. I'm a fucking old man StarCraft player that has horrible mechanics and is locked into it. If you're a young buck and you're playing competitively and you want to be a better player, you should always try to further yourself mechanically and certainly up the amount of control keys you're playing. But if the question is based on like there's more multitasking in Legacy of the Void, are you going to have more control groups? That's an interesting question. It's kind of like, it's like if you're not already trying to do that and that kind of stuff and you're asking that question of yourself, then it's almost irrelevant anyways, unless, that's super mean. No, I mean, everyone's games matters and everyone's a shining star. So no, you should increase your mechanics. Everyone should.
The guide that I would have, and like I've known this for a long time, and I'm sure that like deep down too, like when you try to change something like that, it's always gonna suck for the first day. When I try to change it, it sucked horribly for the first day. But as long as you put some decent hours into it, like eventually it'll be just as easy as before. Like I do it now without thinking about it, and it only took like a couple days maybe to get to that point. And that's not just because I'm like super specially talented. It's just you just do it, and then eventually you get used to it. It's just like learning any new thing, right? I think.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
How do you change? No, I'll ask you guys later. Go
ahead. Okay. So we're gonna stick on you, Steven, and Legacy. Legacy of the Void adds a lot more dynamic makes the game a lot more dynamic. What good things does it take away that HOTS had? So do you see anything that HOTS had and that you're sad that is not here?
No. Nope. I don't think anything made me sad about Heart of the Swarm.
JaKaTaK?
Fuck, I was answering a question in chat. Go.
Is there anything that Legacy of the Void got rid of from HOTS that you miss?
No, nothing.
Okay. And iNcontroL?
That I miss?
Yeah, something that they took away that you wish they wouldn't or hadn't.
No, I mean, I really like the direction. I'm a happy customer.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Let's see. We're almost done here. Yes, there's a podcast version. It's posted by someone in the Team Liquid thread. Okay, Jeff, a lot of people say that StarCraft suffers as an esport because it's difficult to play, and the demands on APM makes it a bad fit for streamers. With Legacy of the Void, we get an even faster-paced game with more demands on multitasking. Are you worried that Blizzard is undercutting the longevity of the game? I believe I know your answer to that, but
Because it's a difficult game to play?
they're making it harder. Do you think that's going to cut down on how long this game is going to last in popularity?
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's pseudo interesting because again, in this day and age, like look at the mega big games, LoL, Dota 2, CS:GO. They are well, it's interesting for different reasons, I guess. CS:GO has like a betting and skin system that I think a lot of people attribute its success to, and is an extremely difficult game to play at a high level. It's kind of Brood War-esque at that in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you would make an argument that it still is possible to have a hyper competitive game that does well viewership wise, but then you have to look towards like the business model as part of the reason why that's true. Hopefully Legacy of the Void comes with a lot of skin stuff and kind of the microtransaction stuff that, people like Steven have been harping on for a long time. And they haven't necessarily flat out said no, but they haven't also come out and said, yes, we are absolutely going to do those kind of things on that scale. So the game itself being more difficult, will that hurt viewership in the long run? It could certainly be a part of it. Gaming is largely in part viewed based on its player base. So if you don't have that, you have to supplement that with something. Is Archon mode enough? Is the story going to be good enough that people are going to stick around and play it? Is it going to be more noob friendly with unranked and that kind of thing? I don't know. I think BattleNet needs some revamping. The UI is really... It feels very lonely. People have been saying that for years. They haven't put a whole lot of attention into it. So it's kind of shades. I don't know. I can't answer that yes or no. It's just kind of a we'll have to wait and see.
Okay. Have you... All right, I'll just throw this one to... if anyone has. Have you tried any of the normal cheeses with the new economy?
I can't rush the shit out of somebody, and then they killed me with Ravagers. Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I messed with Proxy 2 Gate. It's pretty much useless. It's a waste of time. It's much better to just build it in your base.
All right, Steven?
But the Cannon Rush works well.
No, I'm not really. I haven't tried it yet.
All right. And I saw Total Biscuit. Actually, going back to the previous question, did you see Total Biscuit's post, Jeff, about Archon mode being like a saving grace for the casual player? That it gives you you the feeling of community. It gives you the that it allows you to have the fun and excitement of the game experienced at a little higher level.
It's interesting. I'll be curious to see where it goes because we've always had something like that. We had 2 versus 2, and there actually already was a UMS where you could do an Archon mode that's been out since the very beginning. It's been out since Brood War, I think. Well, anyway, it's been out for a long time. This obviously gives it the most attention, so this has the most chance at a lifespan. But a lot of people said the same thing about 2 versus 2, and then there was just kind of no support for it. It just kind of went away. And I guess with Archon mode, it doesn't need map support like 2 versus 2 did. So that's, again, a nod in the direction of it having a chance to be the magic bullet, I believe he called it.
Mm-hmm.
I hope so. I would never root against that. And people will love it. That's for damn sure. Sharing the blame of losing a game of StarCraft is a hell of a lot. And
that's one of the reasons the other games are so... Like, you play Counter-Strike, you play Call of Duty, you play League of Legends or Dota. You go in there, it's not you pouring your heart into the build, starting from scratch, and then, you get your shit pushed in. You go into these games and you have a team, and you don't take that loss as hard. Definitely...
That's a really true thing. 1v1 games are... Some people get very big anxiety when it comes to playing a 1v1 game.
A lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And then Total Biscuit refuted saying that in 2 versus 2, you're still managing your whole army by yourself, and I certainly agree.
I think that team games in StarCraft could have been something. I don't think you can draw any conclusions about the success or the potential success of team games based on how they were handled in StarCraft 2. Because let's be real, Blizzard really kind of neglected the team game scene like hardcore. Like how many seasons on end, like the 3v3 and 4v4 map went unchanged for like 52 years. Like it was pretty fucking crazy. I think the FFA maps are still playing on like Metalopolis, I think.
Actually the 4v4 maps, there's a map that was in there from Legacy from Wings Liberty beta. There's a 4v4 map that's still in the pool.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
All right. So that we've covered the cheese question, covered the previous one a little more in depth. Have any of you guys seen redesigned Swarm hosts? I know we touched on that. I don't think you have been able to use them.
I don't see a reason to ever build it. I haven't used it like in any of my games. Like it just seems so bad. I don't know.
Okay.
I think the cost is a really limiting factor, having it be 200 gas, 100 minerals.
I think the supply is really bad too. Fucking
supply.
4 supply. Fuck with that cooldown. Like
Yeah.
so when it goes on cooldown, I'm just like stuck with like fuck all. Like I don't know. It almost feels more appropriate that like the Swarm host would have an auto attack than the Ravager. You know, like it's just so bad when that shit goes on cooldown. Like you're so fucked.
I hate the unit, the mechanic of it, everything about it in the game. Like they're trying to make it kind of a more fast yet costly forward siege unit. And the flying thing is an interesting take on that, but it's polishing a turd. It's just not a good idea for Zerg to be like, you know, we push forward slowly, sit back, and bleed you out with infinite free units. Like that's just not a fun way to play the game. And StarCraft. And it's funny, too, to see it in Legacy of the Void, where there's so many fucking nods towards speed, micro, multitask, like small engagements with bigger impacts. Your bases mine out faster so that even the economy of the game is faster. And they're like, but, for those of you slow of heart, you still have the Swarm host. You do have to click a couple times now. And like Destiny's saying on his stream, when it's not generating free units that fucking kill everything for free, there is a risk to it. So, you know, like, boo-hoo, Jesus Christ. Like, it farts out toxic clouds of AoE. Like, I don't have any locusts. All right, well, in the meantime, don't come near me. Like, no, it has to have a weakness, and its weakness is that, and then it's also terrible. I hate it.
All right. I think that's really
It is really I totally agree.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So next question.
Nice meme. On JaKaTaK, that was a nice meme.
Oh. All right, guys. That's really it. That's all the questions that are. If I missed your question, it was a legit question. I do apologize. It has been jumbled with the normal fodder at the bottom. We're going to close out the show. It's been a great episode. This is number 21. Again, we had Maynarde earlier, JaKaTaK, Destiny. So we're going to say our goodbyes and get the hell out of Dodge. First, JaKaTaK, thank you for coming back, as always. What we've told us, your new job. We're excited to see what comes from that. Is there anything else going on in your world, and where can people find you?
Yeah, man, if you want to find out what I'm doing, you pretty much just have to type /JaKaTaK TV at the end of things. It's pretty much twitter.com/JaKaTaK TV, facebook.com/JaKaTaK TV, youtube.com/JaKaTaK TV. If you want to support me on Patreon, it's patreon.com/JaKaTaK TV. If you want to send me an email, it's JaKaTaKTV@gmail.com. That's the same email for PayPal as well. Big shout out to all the Patreon supporters and that help me keep eating rice and making videos.
All right. iNcontroL, what about you?
Yeah, just thanks everyone for tuning in. Great audience. I'll be streaming Legacy of the Void after this, so I'll tweet it out as I always do. So if you want, check that out. Otherwise, like I said, the Mortal Kombat, it's not a launch. It's like a I don't know what to call it. There's nothing sexy to say here. Just pre-launch extravaganza. It's Saturday, 1 p.m. PDT. Myself, DJ Wheat, as well as Ezekiel, Man vs. Game, I think. Jessica Brohard, some other people, some Twitch people, and it's gonna be at the Twitch headquarters, but we'll be on Amazon Games with some people from NetherRealms, devs, that kind of stuff. We'll be doing fun stuff. It's gonna be really cool. Other than that, I tweet a lot about Warhammer. I'm gonna make a video about my first impressions about Legacy of the Void and undercut everything here. You'll get it absolutely for free. It'll be on YouTube. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, I will do that. And that's it. Shout out to Total Biscuit for being in the chat. He can also go fuck himself because he didn't respond to me on Skype, so there's that. But that's it. Thank you.
All right, Steven, what's going on in your world? Just gonna keep saving esports on Twitch?
Disruptor bullshit. Oh yeah, I'll just be streaming. Yeah, I'll be streaming.
All right, guys. If you have a beta key, Here you go. Legacy of the Void tournament starting tomorrow. Apparently, did Europe just change over? Like, do they have their own daylight savings time that just kicked in? The CET?
Europe doesn't do daylight
Or
savings.
there are some.
They're on,
British summertime.
They use like centigrade, you know.
There are 2 countries there, I guess, that do, because they're like German people or something. I don't know. They're back to 10 hours because I keep getting messages about this. I don't know. Unless this is a fucking April Fool's joke, but it's a very elaborate one because I've had.
You can't do too many. You can't get had this many times on one show.
Well, is there any other country in Europe that does daylight savings time?
You don't have any idea. You could literally
I
just
know
type that
British
into Google.
Just
Just type into Google. Do any European countries do daylight savings time? Just type it into Google.
Well,
There you go.
He's like, "What's Google?" I don't know. What do you...
Oh, you mean Ask Jeeves?
All right, it's whatever. All right, so the point is that I don't know. Like, it didn't give me it didn't do the Google thing where it usually.
Oh my God! European countries daylight savings time. Daylight savings time by country. Click Wikipedia. Here it is. What country do you want to know about?
Germany.
Germany. Yes, on the last Sunday in March and on the last Sunday in October.
All right, cool. So
Live on the stream, we were learning about daylight savings.
exactly.
time
So
today.
I've been right up until the other day. So the Legacy of the Void tournament, it's 9 CET for every country that doesn't switch over. So, but it's 4 p.m. Eastern time. So just look at 4 p.m. Eastern time, U.S., see what that is, and that is the time in your country that it's going to go down. So the Legacy of the Void tournament, if you guys have the beta key, it's open to everyone, 256 slots. Doubt we're going to fill it, so go ahead and sign up. Just make sure you check in and make sure you enable save replays because those have to be submitted with this tournament. It's the only tournament.
Googled while playing.
I Googled it too. I didn't want to click on the
And
Wikipedia
hosting the show.
article.
No, but
and
he
wait.
did it while playing against Huck. I mean, try to wrap your head around that for a second.
Oh my God.
Hey, Steven, WCS first season with Legacy of the Void. He's going to be on it. You're going to be WCS champion first season Legacy of the Void.
Wow, you're pretty you're more optimistic than I am.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Optimistic, gullible, all those wonderful things. So, anyway, that's all I have from me. We actually had a donation during the stream from Wisecracks. I want to thank him for that. He's always been a supporter of the show, and
Awesome, dude.
yeah, definitely. So he helps out a lot of guys in esports. He donated stuff. Let me get a couple, like my webcam and all that came from him. So I really appreciate that. So thank you, dude, for the donation. Anyway, that's all. If you guys have social media, look down at the bottom. I have social media. I have Facebook and I have Twitter. And I tell you what, man, I told this before. I have a waifu pillow upstairs, and every time I get a new follower after the show, I print off the list of followers with your frickin' pictures, and I plaster it onto the waifu pillow, and I sleep with you tonight. So if you want me cuddling with your visage, please click on Twitter and go follow me. And you will increase my self-worth through internet points. So please and thank you. Anyway, this is the late game episode 21. Maynarde was gone. We had JaKaTaK, iNcontroL, and Destiny. You all have a good night, and we'll see you next week.
All right, see you guys.
So, see you later. Good talking to you, man.
You too, sir.